Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This is a somewhat special video as today marks 1 year since my first YouTube upload. Also, if I'm not mistaken, there's over 200 of you that have decided to subscribe to this channel, which honestly blows my mind whenever I see that. I started making videos because I thought, well, I'm going to be repairing watches regardless. I might as well record it and upload it so that people can see some of the cool watches that are out there. And honestly, I never thought there'd be more than a dozen or so people who were interested in watching them. So I'm glad that so many of you do seem to enjoy them. I hope that I can continue to improve on the video editing as well as my own watch repair skills, and I hope that you continue to find them entertaining. I think it's appropriate that today on the bench I have this Elgin, which was the subject of my first video. I think everything is in good shape mechanically on this, so I'm going to skip right to the assembly and lubrication process. And I think I might poise this watch as well. I noticed during disassembly that the arbor hole was a bit worn, so I'm going to close that. You can see now that I can slightly move the barrel before the arbor starts to move. At this point, a smoothing broach can be used on the hole and it'll be all set. I'll start with the clutch system. For sliding metal contact, you want to lubricate with a grease. I'll be using 9504. You really don't need a lot here, just a thin coating along the shaft is plenty. And that's all you need right there. I'll do the same on the other three sides as well. Now that it's been evenly coated, I can put the sliding pinion on. Now I can move on to the winding pinion. I'll use 9504 again where it meshes with the sliding pinion. Again, you don't need a lot, just enough for a thin coating. Because the winding pinion rotates on this post, I'll be using 9104 here. And that's the winding system complete, so let's move on to the base plate. The posts here and here will both get 9104, as well as here and here for the winding system. This area here will get a small amount of 9504 as it interacts with this piece here. I've applied a small amount to the tip here. You can see how these two pieces interact now. And with the winding system installed, this is how the keyless works interact on this pocket watch. I haven't installed the dial side springs yet, so there's nothing pushing these pieces back into place. I prefer to oil the arbor holes before inserting the barrel. I'm not saying it's better than other ways, it's just the way I do it. The arbor holes are lubricated with 9104. Now I can lubricate the barrel and mainspring. I use 8200 on the mainspring itself and do 4 dabs in a crosshair pattern. I've personally found that this spreads the lubricant evenly along the mainspring during the winding and unwinding process, and gives good results without any oil spreading outside the barrel. And again, I'm not saying that this way is any better than the other ways, it's just how I've always done it, and I've gotten great results this way. The arbor gets 9104 where it interacts with the barrel here. Now I can install the gear train and lubricate the pivots. The second and third wheel get 9104. I apologize for the shaky hands. I had to put my arm and head at a weird angle to both see what I was doing and not bump into the camera. The fourth and escape wheel both get 9010. Now I'll flip over to the dial side and repeat the process. After the gear train is fully oiled, I put some pressure on the mainspring barrel to engage the gears. This helps spread the lubricants around the pivots. The crown wheel's spacer gets 9104 at points of contact as well. Now I'll install the clutch lever and springs. This cutout gets 9104 as well as the clutch lever's post. This peg here gets 9504. This peg also gets 9504. Now I can make sure everything's working as it should, which it is. With the pallet fork installed, I'll fully wind the watch. The gear train is functioning as it should, so I'll oil the pallet stones. It won't be possible for me to both show that on camera and do a good job lubricating them, so I'll do it off camera. Here's the balance capstones. This is the amount of 90-10 that I use on them normally. The watch has been running for a bit, so let's check the accuracy across positions. Dial up to pendant up isn't great, but not too bad. Pendant left is pretty good. Pendant right is way too slow. And pendant down is pretty much the same. At this point, you'd want to check the balance pivots to see if they're damaged or bent, but I've already checked them and the amplitude is pretty much the same across the vertical positions. Another issue could be the hairspring, but again I've checked it and it's nice and flat without any damage. So that leaves a poise issue. I'm going to remove weight from the slowest spot and align the vertical positions using this screw undercutter. I should be able to do that and bring the difference from dial up to pendant up closer at the same time. And here's the results. I'm perfectly fine with +10 -20 between the positions for an unadjusted watch. That's about how it would have run fresh out of the factory, and it'll still keep good time when worn. Now let's finish the dial side lubrication. The minute wheel post gets 9104. I always put a tiny amount of 9504 on the canon pinion. Now I can put the dial and hands on and case the watch. Here's the movement, running well. And here's the dial. Thank you all again for sticking around and enjoying the videos, and I'll see you next time.